Thank you. So let's begin the session. Value streams. Our focus of today's session is to have your thought process narrowed down mainly onto value. So let me give a brief introduction about me. I'm Karupaya, working for Infosys and have total 23 years of experience and had played varied roles in IT, starting from developer to tester, as a quality analyst, then as a scrum master, then agile project manager, then as an agile coach, then delivery manager in all aspects, and have some passion in fulfilling certain basic certifications, and which is supposed to be rather called as my hobby too. So this is my small brief introduction. So before proceeding on to this continuation of my session, let me discuss some thought on it. Why should it not be science of value stream? Why it should be called as art of value stream? If you have any suggestion, ideas, please let me know. If not, let's park this question aside and let's proceed on the session. And once you get to know something, you can let us know. Can anyone think about that? Why it should be called as art of value stream instead of science of value stream? What do you mean by this statement or the title, the art of value stream? Any ideas?
Can I try, Karupya?
Yes, please go ahead.
Maybe it's basically thinking and understanding the culture, philosophy behind a team. Want to help clients in order to have a flow of value. A value has to flow to the client continuously.
Perfect. Value has
So
to,
yeah,
yes.
maybe so. The thing is like our ability to understand value added, non-value added, that art, the thinking, the culture, philosophy behind that.
Okay. Very true. But there occurs to consider to be one misconception about value stream identification and value stream mapping. Now, what you told is value stream mapping, nothing but value added activities and non-value added activities. That is there, but that is part of this discussion. But our focus is on to identify the value stream. From the identification, we are proceeding on with the mapping. That is optimization of value stream. We'll see how it is to be happen. Okay. So I have categorized this session into 4 groups. Why value stream and its importance, types of value stream, and identification of value stream. After each session, I will just pause for a while, make you people understand, ask questions. Parallelly, I too will be asking questions to make you understand. And this session is a bit advanced and complicated. And you people, the basic prerequisite for this session is at least to be a safe agile, leading safe agilist. The basic certification should have been procured. If not, also it's okay. I have made this session as simple as possible. So Gartner's report also says by 2023, most of the organizations are on to identification of value stream and implementation of that. Earlier, there used to be a statement saying, if you're not proceeding on with the implementation of PA planning effectively, then you're not doing safe. But now the current statement is, if you're not identifying value stream effectively, you're going to ruin the business itself. The entire enterprise business is going to be at task. So it is one of the base construct. Value stream identification in safe is considered to be as one of the base construct, and it has been intertwined amongst all other constructs of the safe. Let's see how it is to be shown. Okay. So thriving in digital age. What does this mean? So please narrow down your focus, thought process, everything onto value stream alignment, identification of value stream identification, what is the value, everything. Say, for example, if you are attending this session, after investing your time of 1 hour, what is the value you're going to get out of it? That should be the focus. You're boarding onto a bus from point A to point B. You're availing a service. The customer has been availed some service, some product, some value. The customer is happy, he pays money out of it. So when he realizes the value for it, be it a product or service or anything, then you generate value. So we are about to look for how can we generate value through implementation of SAFe across the organization. That is the business model. So thriving in digital age. So the SAFe objective is to achieve business agility. So what is business agility? The ability to compete and thrive in the digital era of emerging opportunities and change to respond, changing events on and off. A quick response should be there, and lot of opportunities will be occurring then and there. How are we going to handle those things through this business agility? How, that is what the main motto of this. So what they come out is, so they started. So suppose consider if you're about to start a business, will you be having it in a very structured format, having policy, procedure, governance, everything will be in place instantly? Definitely not. You will make people collaborate, whatever way you are feeling like. It is to be in a very natural manner. This is called as value enabled network, focus mainly on to customer centricity. Okay. The other network is, which is the right side, which one is the hierarchical network, organizational hierarchy, which is very much structured, formulated, and it is well proven. Report structure, everything is there. But this when it collides, when this value enabled network collides with structured hierarchy, it could not survive. What happens? Guess. It tries to thrash this original hierarchy, tries to crush this value enabled network. Later, John Kotter, the great philosopher in SAFe, had come out with a dual operating system. We need both the operating system. We need both hierarchical model as well as the speed of innovation. The speed of innovation is for agility, and this efficiency and stability is for hierarchical growth. Because this efficiency and hierarchy, which is of proven records, it is for there for 3 to 4 decades, which is having policy, procedures, structures, governance, everything, reporting structure, everything is there. Whereas in customer centricity, the reporting structure, everything is fluid. But we cannot live one and survive with the other. It is impossible. Though it is adaptive, it is predictive, we need both the operating system. It is considered to be a dual operating system of SAFe. Hence, John P. Kotter had arrived at and named it as dual operating system is essential for achieving business agility. So how it could be made possible? So value stream network, through its interface, maps with the SAFe value streams, and in turn gets connected to functional hierarchy. This is how it is getting interconnected with other teams. So I just pause for a while. So is there any other clarification, any suggestions, thoughts with what we discussed? We come to know what is the importance of having dual operating system. Earlier we had organizational hierarchy. We came out with customer centricity, value enabled network. Both is trying to collide. By that time, organizational hierarchy is trying to trash for growing of economies of scale. Because of that, John Kotter come out with dual operating system, which is most essential for survival of business agility. Do you have any questions? Any questions? Do you have any questions?
So, Karupia.
Yes.
So, are we saying a team need to effectively balance both hierarchy and value stream mapping?
Very true. Yes, very true. It is needed. Because it is not structured. Value stream network is not structured. It is focused mainly on to customer. Tomorrow when request comes ad hoc and you start addressing that request, your objective is to fulfill the requirement of the customer, generate value. But at the same time, when the organization grows, meeting the economics of scale, at scale, what happens? There is no structure, there is no policy, there is no procedure. And how will when the customer demands for testing of the product, where will you go for it? Because here you have everything functional hierarchy. You go for everything structured. So it is a dual operating system. It is needed. That's why people, Mike Curtin, you should go for that book, Projects to Product. The SAFe is mainly focused on product. Earlier, we were having project methodology. This approach, the functional hierarchy, is fully focused on project hierarchical approach, project management. No, we don't need project management. But at the same time, we cannot exclude completely of having project management. Both is essential. Your question is very valid. Both is essential. But we are moving from projects to product. You should read that book, Mike Curtin. Okay. Anything else?
But many organizations, let's
Okay.
say the software development vendor team is about 100,000 employees, and client team also 100,000 employees, 200,000 employees, big hierarchical teams, bureaucratic delays, a lot of delays are
Okay.
happening. But
Okay.
how do we address the hierarchy, bureaucracy, lot of delay in 200,000 employees are there? How do we ensure that?
That is what, no, you're not going to address everything at a such and one go, right? You're going to streamline everything. That is what the portfolio Kanban is all about. Portfolio Kanban is nothing but you are having some thoughts for this particular stream of work, what is essential to be done. You are going to prioritize the work. It's not a junk of, it will be a bit chaos, correct? You cannot handle, you cannot eat all the food for the whole day or for the whole week and at one stretch. Got it?
Correct. Yeah, makes sense.
Thank you.
And also just to add,
Yes.
bureaucracy generally comes because of a standard structure that operates in an organization for long term.
Correct.
However, what he says in this particular philosophy is, if you want to do a specific work, a goal-based work, you have to make a new setup or organization with very skillful and required people in a given setup. So that setup itself is a different setup. It's not your bureaucratic setup. Bureaucratic setup is still there, but the relevant people come together and form a goal-based short-term organization is what is a new philosophy.
Very true. Thank
you.
Let's proceed further. Any other questions? Okay, let's proceed. Now, we saw the importance of having dual operating system. So your thought process should be narrowed down only onto values, value stream, organizing around values. How are we going to make that happen? So lean thinking. Why suddenly lean thinking? What make you think about lean now? Any thoughts on it?
Cost optimization.
Cost optimization, okay. No, when we are discussing about SAFe, why should I need to talk about lean?
See, lean is one thing which will reduce your waste. Your value added activities.
Okay.
Only you need to focus only on the value added activities. Non-value added activities will be removed.
Very
so that's
true.
the waste removal. So lean
Okay.
thinking and your value stream is again connected, because value stream is nothing but it's a lean process only. The value stream itself is a lean process. And in the value stream process, you are cutting down the non-value added activities, and that's removal of the waste basically.
Perfect. Okay. So can anyone elaborate the abbreviation SAFe, if you don't mind?
Scaled Agile Framework for Enterprises.
Still, can anyone? You're right. Still, one part is missing. Scaled Agile Framework for it. Okay. Still, who else can add value to that? Can anyone try? It is Scaled Agile Framework for Lean Enterprise. Because for ease of use and for ease of pronunciation, people have come out with Scaled Agile Framework for Enterprise, just like that. But it is hidden as lean. And moreover, be it any framework, be it Agile, Scrum, Kanban, SAFe, Disciplined Agile, or less, or whatever it is, it's all inhibited from lean manufacturing. So any process framework you take, for that matter, you will be having these 5 principles. As Agile has 12 principles, SAFe has 10 principles. Similarly, Lean has got 5 principles. So here the first and foremost item which we are considering here is identify value. So how do you identify value? As I told an example, you're attending this session. What is that you're going to get out of it? Some value should be there, right? Can I make use of these concepts? Can I take, what could be the takeaway from my attending this session? Or if I pay X amount, what is the service I'll be availing? Similarly, so you should identify the value. Then after identifying, map the value stream. Value stream is nothing but the current process, as is process and to be process, which we will be discussing in detail as furthermore slides, and create the flow. This is where the waste is to be identified. Waste is nothing but the bottlenecks. Waste you can classify as 8 steps are there. 8 steps are 8 kind of waste are there. They call it as Muda process, Japanese terminology. So over processing, over production, defects, rework, and waiting time, everything is considered to be as a waste. So how are we going to eliminate, not completely eliminating, how are we going to minimize that? Makes sense, right? And establish pull. Pull is nothing but the opportunities in which the customer sees the value in it. And continuous improvement is nothing but the seek perfection. This is the 5 principles of Lean. Okay. So why I am bringing Lean into SAFe is, it is the super phenomenon of all the frameworks, which SAFe is inhibiting the characteristic feature of Lean. That is the reason why we are bringing Lean into picture. Next one is, can anyone say the SAFe house of Lean, what does it contain?
Yeah, the SAFe house of Lean, on top of the roof is value.
Perfect, value. Okay.
Value, and the foundational rock bottom is leadership.
Wow.
And the 4 pillars are respect for people and culture.
Super.
And
okay. Flow, innovation, relentless improvement. We are not going to details of this, which has been discussed in other sessions. And the emphasis over here is brought to people is value. Again, people are circling around to value, focusing towards value. Entire discussion of SAFe, if you take any perspective, any construct of SAFe, they will direct finally what is the value onto it. That's what the objective. So why we need to organize around value every time? That basic question will be arising to many people, right? Optimizing the system as a whole. So there could be n number of modules being developed, but it has to be integrated using CI/CD. That is nothing but the continuous delivery pipeline, which is termed to be as a whole system. And it is easier to build in quality. Built-in quality. What do you mean by built-in quality? Using extreme programming engineering practices. So that could be made possible. And fewer handoffs from point A to point B, from one phase to other phase, there should be minimal of the delays or the handoffs, because of which we could overcome the impediments well in advance. And the product should be higher quality, higher customer satisfaction, and built-in alignment. The last point, built-in alignment. What is that built-in alignment? You might have known about alignment, transparency, program execution, all those stuffs, right? Built-in alignment is nothing but getting connected from the strategy to the execution point. So the strategy, the portfolio, what is that they're going to devise, what is that to be developed, is to be cascaded down the line without any gap, communication gap. That's what if there is any miscommunication or any gap, then what is told is not being built. That's why we need to organize around values. So now we will see what is the value stream. We have seen the importance of dual operating system and Lean principle, and highlighting the need and emphasis of value. What is the value? Now proceeding on to value stream. So value stream is a sequence of steps used to deliver value to the customer. Hope you all understand that. Second one is concept to cash. I have a lot of ideas, but how do I materialize that, make things happen and generate value? See, in SAFE, we call it as a PA planning, and during the last 2 weeks, we conduct a hackathon event, wherein all the ideas, where all this have been in the backlog, we need to groom that and then prioritize that and take that further into next iterations. That's what is called as concept to cash. Third item is, it contains people's process, information, flow, system, everything. That's what the value stream is all about. So trigger is nothing but the idea which is generating the value. And the objective here is to minimize the lead time. The process which I have written over here is nothing but the lead time from start to end, how much time is getting consumed. That's what is called as optimization, which we'll be discussing in detail as we proceed further. So currently we are in command and control mode, organizational hierarchy. And we are moving on to command of teams, wherein people collaborate, but still there is some gap over there. The expectation over is the extreme right, value streams and arts, where people can collaborate without any boundaries, without any organizational limits, without any geographical limits. People can collaborate across the globe to make things happen. Can anyone add value to what you mean by organizing teams around value streams? What do you mean by teams around value streams, which I highlighted in yellow? What do you mean by teams? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel, Karupaya, it's basically the teams that are really working to produce the value. So unless the teams are in a proper, structured, or, they are in alignment, it's very difficult to derive the value which is expected by the customer. So it is mainly, you need to organize the teams in such a way that they, for example, the development teams, or you have value streams of two types. One is operational and development. Operational again boils down to your developmental value streams. So developmental value streams are the ones who are producing the value. The end result is being generated by the development teams. So we need to organize the teams properly in order to produce the value for the value streams, actually.
Perfect. Great. So can anyone let me know about the characteristic feature of development team in Scrum methodology, Scrum framework, to make you understand clearer where are we what have we gone through in those earlier days? Not earlier days, it is still in use, still Scrum we are following. Scrum is considered to be the base for any of the framework. So what I am asking here is, how can we elaborate, or how do we make emphasis more clearer in understanding of the development team in Scrum framework?
See, the development team is nothing but it's a cross-functional team. How much more cross-functional it is, that will produce the result, actually. Even though we are talking about cross-functional teams, see, I'm an agile coach working with, I was with Wipro and now I work for Standard Chartered. I've never seen 100% of our cross-functional teams. What is a cross-functional team? A developer should be able to jump and do the testing. A tester should jump and able to do the development. But that is not really occurring. So only when a team is 100% or 200% cross-functional, we can say the team is completely enabled, or they're capable. That is what is a Scrum team. They have to be cross-functional in nature.
Correct. So here teams are nothing but teams of agile teams, nothing but they are called as ART. That's what I'm coming to that. So the purpose of asking about the teams is nothing but to stress on the point. It is nothing but ART. ART is nothing but agile release train. So what does it contain? It is nothing but the value stream. What does the value stream contain internally? It is nothing but teams of teams. It is a virtual organization wherein people can collaborate across, and it is fully loaded, which is having capability of software, hardware, people, and can interact, collaborate with any people across boundaries. No issues. Objective is to generate value to customer. That's it. How it is going to happen? By naturally or through hierarchical model, it is considered to be a dual operating system, Very simple. Proceeding further.
Just one question, Krupaya.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So maybe if you can just, I think the slide says that, this organization teams around value streams. Is it really a value stream or is it just a value?
Value stream.
So how art is a value stream? I mean, just trying to understand that part, because it
No,
is
value
really
stream.
delivering the value, right?
No. See here, what we understood about value stream is the sequence of steps. Say you're going to ATM, withdrawing you're going to ATM, making a request for withdrawing 5,000 rupees cash. Internally, there happens certain process. End of the day, so immediately you're getting a cash out of it. You're generating value. But is that instantly happening? You're sending a request, immediately you're getting the money. Internally, some process happening, right? It is a sequence of steps. But internally, what is happening? But it has been taken care, maintained, and a number of people involved. And they say, for example, you are traveling in a flight, and you're having monitor before you for entertainment. Is that been you're just switching on it, you're able to listen to music, everything. But how it is getting operated? It has got some sequence of steps within built in, right?
So I understand. So I think there is just to my understanding, right? I'm not as expert as you are, probably on safe.
No. Here nobody's expert. Everybody's under learning curve only.
Yeah. So I think RP, I think I would agree a little to you. So I think what he's saying is an extension of organizing around the value. Because value stream might be too big and large.
My further question, Vijay, is I think SAFE also has those two value streams, right? So one is at the operational level, right? Operational value stream, which is really at the portfolio level.
I'm going for, no, you're jumping too much. Agile teams, virtual organization, long live. As long as the value stream is there, art is going to be there. That's it for as of now. You please consider that. Now currently we are having n number of organizations within our unit. Say, for example, testing unit is there, development team is there. But what happens is they internally collaborate amongst them only. Developers interact only with developers. Testers interact only with testers. But where is the collaboration amongst the other teams? What should be made, how it can be made possible to interact, make things happen? Any suggestions? Now everything is happening in silos. Say, for example, HR team may not be able to communicate properly that new team member is getting inducted. Or down the line cascading of the strategy, this is what the proposed for this PA planning, quarter on quarter, or how it could be made possible. That is done through system thinking of principle, scaled agile principle number 2, that is nothing but system thinking, and through the scaled agile principle number 10, which is recently added in 5.0, is nothing but organizing around values. So system thinking is a holistic approach. When you develop a solution, it is not only developing, earlier it was considered to be as a system alone. Now in 5.1, they reframed it to be as solutions. The reason behind this, solution could be either product, service, or a system. So holistically, it is called as a solution. So they call solution itself as a system. See, I'll say here, hold on. Okay, I'll proceed on. So each unit is running on its own. Hardware is running on its own, software running on its own, testing, QA, operations, everything running on its own. So objective is to integrate, make all the units collaborate together and generate value from A to the end point, from starting point to ending point. That is objective here. So currently there are how many silos are there? What are the impacts that would cause to the organization? High, medium, low. Based upon this, we can figure it out how best can we mitigate and resolve this impediment. Because if it is in silos, organizations are performing in silos. If testing team is performing in silo, there is no cross-functional. Then how do you think that values will flow across? Definitely not possible. Though you say that I am following SAFE, but SAFE's ultimate base construct is to generate value stream or organize around values. But when the organizations are running in silos, what's the purpose of implementing SAFE then? Definitely not needed, right? So first and foremost thing is we need to look for what are the organizations running in silos. Due to varied reasons, it could be. Is there any possibility to connect those organizations across? That is what we have to see. What is the impact it causes? So when to conduct this value stream identification? At the beginning of the PA planning or beginning of the transition itself. That is most essential. As I was telling earlier, if you do not do PA planning, you are not doing safe. Now, when you are not doing value stream identification effectively, you are going to ruin the business. Then resolving ART. ART is nothing but agile release train, or ST is nothing but solution train. Say resolving ART, there could be new inclusions, or the scope could be changed, or decommissioning something. So it has to be revisited frequently, probably every quarter. It's not a one-time event. And normally when I start having the session, it could be a one-day workshop. But in your project's implementation, it could be a 2-day workshop, because you need to involve the senior managers, business owners, product management, top executives, directors, who are decision makers. And adopting lean portfolio management, it is another different, very important construct of SAFe, wherein you need to get sponsor funding for having this value stream enabled. So in forthcoming sessions, we'll discuss about lean portfolio management. That is another pipeline now. So far, any questions?
So Karupya, is it like a couple of weeks before starting PA planning?
Yes, yes.
You want to suggest to conduct value stream mapping workshop?
Correct. Yes, you're right. Before, that is in the transition phase itself.
So what are the outcomes we are
I will
expecting?
tell you, it is a 2-day workshop with all the relevant stakeholders. First day is for preparing your identifying value stream and art, and embracing this value stream onto art. First day is done. Second day, splitting the art if needed, and creating implementation plan, and the launch of the first art. That is the most challenging task for any organization. If that is failed, again you have to redo everything. To avoid that, it is mandatory, essential to have 2 days of workshop.
Yeah, Karupya,
Now we are into deep dive of value stream of our discussion. So far, we have discussed about importance of value, having dual operating system, then what is a value stream, and why value stream, why should we need to organize around values, everything we've gone through that. Those are the basic stuff of a discussion. Now on to value stream. What is a value stream? We saw what is a value stream. Value stream are of two types: operation value stream and development value stream. Operation value stream is nothing but the business value stream. So how do we differentiate this? You go to a restaurant, you order a burger, and you wait for some time. People process the order, and you get the burger in hand. So you're interacting only with the person who takes the order, but you do not know what is going to happen behind the screen. That things happening behind the screen is nothing but the development value stream. So business value stream, still some more examples if you would like to have, I can quote. Say going to bank, availing for loan, requesting for loan. So request has been made, some internal process happening, fag end of the day, you are getting the loan. This is one of the example. You go to restaurant, order stuff, get out of it. So it is all customer. What customer wants, you are getting out of it. Pay some value for it, getting out of it. This is nothing but operational value stream. Development value stream is the feature request. The difference between value stream, operational value stream and development value stream is, in operation value stream, here the request is could be anything, could be purchase order, could be anything for that matter. Whereas development value stream could be this particular feature request. I will just hold on. Sorry. Cursor not moving. Okay. See, for example, one of the item in the operation value stream, each item is considered to be one of the feature request. This request is coming down to say customer need, what is he need, one of the requests from the operation value stream. It is getting flown to development value stream. So it is getting processed internally. This will not be known to the customer. What is happening inside will not be known to the customer. That is nothing but operation value stream. What is happening inside is called as development value stream. Are you able to differentiate? Understand the difference between operation value stream and development value stream?
So, Karupya, can we say the Wells Fargo and Bank of America, their captive centers, they work predominantly on development value streams?
Sorry, hold on.
The Wells Fargo and Bank of America, these multinational banks in India, they are working on a they have their own captive centers, right?
Wells Fargo and I couldn't
Bank
understand.
of America. Their captive centers. Their captive centers, can we say they are like development value stream they work on?
Definitely not, because once a request is been to the person who takes the order or something like that, you go to bank, you make a request. Say, for example, you're going to bank, make some request for availing loan. It is a sequence of steps. After a few days, you have been approved and you can get the loan requested. You're going to get the loan and repay the loan. The chapter closes there. But defining what is there in the application form, building that, developing that, everything is taken care of by development value stream. Internal modules. You got it now?
Got it. But by what my basic understanding is that the captive centers in India, are they predominantly working on development value stream of that particular bank or not?
I would agree with you. I guess.
Correct. Because, see, for example, it could be considered as for each product, there could be one value stream generated. Consider that. Be it anything, manufacturing of a Dell product or inside a component or anything, any component, considered to be as a product or service for which each and everything you are going to generate one value stream. Simple as it is.
And also, Karupaya, let me add on one more thing.
Please.
Like, according to my understanding, I find a line of business is kind of organized to a value stream. You have a line of business, and this line of business will be organized as a value stream. And you will have an operational value stream for the line of business. And then later on, you'll derive the developmental value streams from that line of business, which is treated as a value stream, actually. Like, I can give you an example. I can give you an example of a line of business. Like, recently I worked for Wipro for a customer called Telefonica, which was running on SAFe, the entire system. So they have lead to order, order to payment, usage to billing, all these things. They were organized as a value. The whole line of business was organized as a value stream or a value chain, actually. Like, we derived the value chains and we treated everything as an operational value stream, actually. Like, and later on, from these operational value streams, under order to activate or usage to billing, all these things, we derive the developmental value streams or the developmental teams which will actually work on those components, actually, like Karupaya.
Interesting thought here. So just one question is that the development value stream, is it required to be staying within the operational value stream, or can it cut across different operational value streams?
No. You should understand the minor difference, thin line of difference over here, not thin line of difference. See, consider you're requesting a product or service, and fag end of the day, you're availing that. But internally, what happens behind the screen, each item is considered to be one of the feature. Consider it is processing the application status or code. So here this is the request. Feature request is considered to be as feature request. For development value stream, it is considered to be as a feature request. So it is a standard. We have to define the application, design it, code it, test it, and roll it out. This is a standard format. Whereas
However,
operation value,
however, it can cut across. I think development value streams can cut across various arts, so that's why we call it a solution train, right?
Correct. We are coming into that. And if we want to optimize this value stream, we need to go for process mapping. This is what is called as value stream mapping. So value stream mapping, as people are saying initially, we have to minimize the lead time. Lead time is nothing but the total time, and the process time plus the wait time is nothing but the lead time. How are we going to minimize this lead time such a way we can generate more value? So if we need to generate more value, we need to we cannot have much of silos existing in the organizations, right? So it has to be made possible to make the value flow across the organization. That has been made possible through value streams implementation of having operational value stream and development value stream. Let's see further on to other slides. Don't worry. So now we have to first identify the development value stream. For identifying development value stream, we need to know what the operation value stream is all about. First, we need to identify the operation value stream. Then only we can, in order to identify the letter, we need to identify the format. That's what it is all about. So first, we have to identify the operation value stream. It's all been predetermined, predefined color coding by SAFe. I have not made anything. It's all been documented, and it is all available in Scaled Agile framework. First, you have to identify operational value stream. Then you have to identify the solutions. Nothing but the grouping of all the features or the request. This yellow colored one is nothing but the solutions. So earlier it is called as system. Now they renamed it this to be as a solution in 5.1. See, everywhere it is called as solutions. Earlier it is called as system. So solutions. After that, we have to identify the people. These are the people who will be developing these solutions. Then identify the development value stream that build the solutions. Now only you're coming with development value stream. The last one, which is most important one, is embrace, wrap it around art. That is what someone was asking the question. How do we make that enabled in the art? That is the last item. So the objective is to have development value stream, but to have the development value stream, we need to focus on identifying operation value stream. If this is failed, if identifying of operation value stream is not that effective, the entire following steps will be a task. Hope you understand, right? So operation value stream, how effectively are we going to identify? That is a catch over here now. See now, types of operational value stream. It has got 4 types. The first type is fulfillment operational value stream. Fulfillment operational value stream, it is nothing but it is mainly relying on to B2B, B2C, or banking, insurance, all digital oriented products. For example, which we are quoting frequently as availing loan. Customer requested a loan, and back end of the day, he is getting the loan repaid with the interest. This is the fulfillment operation. Most of the items will fall into this. Next one is order received and vehicles. From raw materials, you're processing the order and you're delivering the end result, vehicle. And the third item is SaaS, software as a service. Say, for example, mobile applications, desktop applications, many things could be there, wherein thousands of associates are working to make things happen. So that is nothing but order received, software product operation value stream. And the fourth one is the support related operation value stream. Nothing but it could be HR or audits, compliance, or testing, wherein which is not been solely associated with the mainstream, but they are also in needed. So how do we handle those things? So let us focus on each of the value stream now of identifying operation value stream. Now questionnaire has been given to narrow down our focus of identifying. Again, our objective is to identify development value stream. But in order to identify development value stream, we need to focus on identifying operation value stream. After identifying operation value stream, we need to group them into solutions. After grouping them into solutions, we need to identify the people who develop these solutions. After that, we identify the development value stream. So after developing a value stream has been identified, we are embracing them into the art. This is the 5 steps. If you cover this, the entire identification of value stream and art is done. So now First item we are going to discuss, identifying operation value stream. Okay. The first, it has got 4 types. First item is fulfillment operation value stream. It is nothing but relying mainly on B2B and B2C or banking, insurance, portal, something like that, all mainly onto digitized. As the loan is being requested and the customer is availing the loan. The second operation value stream is manufacturing, related to manufacturing. So order received, let's say for example, materials, raw material has been received and you're manufacturing it and delivering it. The third item is software product as a service. The people call it as SaaS. It could be mobile device, mobile applications, desktop applications, or anything for that matter, which needs integration from hardware, software, or wherein thousands of associates need to be working on that particular stream of work, which is considered to be a software as a service. And fourth one is support service, where we need support from legal, compliance, testing, or audit, something related to that on need basis. So how are we going to identify the value stream? Based upon our requirement, we need to narrow down our focus. So based upon these questionnaires, see what are the products and services that you serve to customers. These are all the standard questions. This is the 4 categories related to this identification of this operation value stream. So for example, if you take the second category, what products do you sell and support? What are the largest subsystems? Operation capabilities, non-functional requirements, everything. You say yes, no, everything. It will be narrowing down your requirement. Or the third item, software products and services, market segments do you serve? See, this is, I'm going back. Yes, see, software product operation value stream, nothing but it is a SaaS. The third item, we will look into that. What software products and services do you sell? What market segments do you serve? Similarly, we are narrowing down all the related items, questionnaires, to bring to attention that this is what the operation value stream is all about. Failing which, the following items could also fail. That is the reason we are having 4 types of operation value streams for us to identify effectively. These are the 4 operation value streams. Now narrow down. Now, this is the documentation. After identifying the operation value stream, we need to document it. So first, I just identified of the 4 operation value stream. I identified them as first operation value stream. So the name, the description, the customer, what is that they need, and the trigger, which I showed in one of the image. Trigger is nothing but the idea. Idea is nothing but the innovation, which people need to execute that. So here the customer wants to borrow money and approach the bank through any of the existing channels. This is the trigger. This is the idea. So what happens? Finally, he gets the amount requested. That is the loan. This is nothing but the documentation of identified operation value stream. This is the example. So loan is needed. It has been processed across all the streams and repayment plus interest. This is just an example of fulfillment operation value stream. This is the solutions. The same example, it has been grouping. All things are grouped. Here, this is the core banking. So core banking is one of the solution. These are all the items. Internal processing is all getting grouped. The purpose of grouping is to generate development value stream. Okay. After grouping, you are identifying the people. From which area, what skill set they have, from which geography they are, which unit they belong to. For that purpose, we are identifying the people who develop and support the system. Now, before proceeding on to development value stream, I'll just walk you through back. See now, you should be able to understand now. First, we identified the operation value stream, which has got 4 types. And we identified the solutions. After identifying the operation value stream, after identifying the solutions, we identified the people, which I showed over there. After identifying the solution, after identifying the people, we are going to identify the development value stream. Now the fourth point, now we are into fourth point, development value stream. Identify development value stream.
Hey, Karupaya, this is Ravi
Yes.
this side. I have one
Yes.
question. We talked about the operational and the development value stream.
Correct.
I have one question. These value stream itself may require some kind of a lean aspect to identify. Can we, to what stage when we identify operational value stream, we can optimize and take out the waste and construct a right value stream, operational value stream or development value stream, where it is going to figure out?
Very valid question. The optimization of value stream happens in development value stream, not in the case of operational value stream. Development value stream is where all development activities taking place. So it is a coming.
Maybe the operational value stream, when you are talking about from starting from the end, there may be a steps, okay, which requires unnecessarily put in, like loan management system or something like that. The customer
Correct.
comes to a bank and he gets the loan. Maybe some of the steps which requires
you
to
can
be
eliminate.
eliminated or can
Yes, you can eliminate.
yeah,
But
so that is
optimization-
where it is going to
Yes.
be. Is it going to be done in the development, or it is to be there in the when we are optimizing?
Because after identifying what the operation value stream says, what the customer needs, but development value stream says, how are we going to make that customer happy, realize the value of what has been requested, for which we are grouping them as a solution. In that solution itself, you can merge the related aspects together.
Okay, so now what I understand is the development value stream include the both aspect. You have to optimize the value stream as well as to develop the features within a stream which is going to serve the purpose of value to be delivered to the customer. Am I right?
Perfect. You're right. You're right. Got it.
Both aspects we have to consider. Optimize the
Right.
value stream, the steps, and then within these steps, what are the features are there that requires to be delivered. You have to
Yes.
develop and okay.
That is what the intention behind art, having art. Art is nothing but it's a long-lived team of agile teams. That is one of the competency of scaled agile. Very
That is called the art of value stream.
yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also, Karupaya, what I feel is whatever non-value added activities you are going to remove, that would take place at the operational value stream level itself, I think, because it is easier to derive the developmental value streams after all the non-value added activities are removed.
Yes, agreed.
Value
Sorry.
stream.
Correct. Correct.
So
Yes.
that
Yes.
is-
Yes,
that's
yes.
the way it operates. So
Perfect. Yes. You're right.
all the kind of
That is what I was talking about.
the
Yes, sir.
major work
You're right,
is
you're right.
being done. The major part of the work is being done at the operational value stream level, and then it becomes very easy for you to derive the development value streams or associate the number of people with the different agile release trains. You know,
Very-
maybe
very
one agile release
excellent.
train or two agile release trains or multiple agile release trains. It becomes easier. So
Very
whatever
good. Yes.
optimizing you will be doing it at the operational level itself. Actually, like I think.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. 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 Let me proceed. Is that okay?
Yes,
Shall I?
yes, proceed.
Thank you. I'm slow because of a lot of images not moving immediately. Yes, this slide visa. Now we are about to, so far what we did, we identified operational value stream, we grouped them into solutions, then we identified the people who are about to develop the solutions. These are the three items which we covered, and in identifying operational value stream, we saw four items, four types of operational value stream. This is what been discussed so far. Now proceeding further on, identifying development value stream. So development value stream contains the steps, flow of information, material, and the people who develop the solutions used by the operation value stream. Because this development value stream are the enabler for the operation value stream to fulfill the requirements of the customer. Right? So as you people are saying, it is a lead time. So lead time is nothing but the process time of individual process plus the wait time, which is nothing but the non-value added activity, which together constitutes say a lead time. The objective of is to minimize as much as possible to have the process more efficient. So how can we do that? That is nothing but the optimization, for which we need to devise the as-is process, how much of time and cost and people getting involved in constructing this, what is the performance of the system, and what is the expected behavior of the system, what benefit would it reap, and what is the time cost, everything we have to analyze that. Or else there is no point in migrating from A to B, right? As is to B, there is nothing but the optimization model. That happens mainly in development value stream. Yes. So development value stream, I can take the same old example. This is the operation value stream. Solutions been developed and the people have been identified for developing the solution. And this is nothing but the development value stream. So this development value stream is getting grouped for these three items. These are considered to be similar kind of items, I believe. So these solutions are getting grouped and they develop a development value stream. And this core banking, this solution has constitutes of these are many items. Extend loan item, award loan, or approval, or repay money, or verify, validate, everything. These things are core banking. So this has been developed separately as another development value stream, core banking. This is how it has been done. Now coming to manufacturing development value stream. People should not get confused. Development manufacturing, see, I am coming back to again the old slides. So far we have seen only fulfillment operation value stream. Now we are jumping on to the second item, manufacturing operation value stream. Then SaaS, then support. So manufacturing development value stream. So from raw materials to product. What happens here is, we were all well aware of the database like KEDB, known error database, or risk database, or defect database, something like that. Similarly, in SAFe, we too also call it as solution intent. See, it is called a solution intent, wherein all the specifications or the architectural runway, the components, the similar kind of things which we can reuse later part of it, or all the design spec, everything will be made available in a common repository called as solution intent, wherein all the bill of materials, design specific, manufacturing specific, everything, by which you can generate one development value stream. Based upon this development value stream, again they start building onto other one, build the tools that the vehicle is intended for manufacturing. Okay, this is manufacturing value stream. Next one is the SaaS, software as a service. Now order is getting processed. It is nothing but, I told, it is a mobile app or a desktop app or anything for that matter, wherein thousands of associates collaborate together and evolve as a final product. So people are grouping certain items together and they are developing development value stream. Finally, develops the software solution. This development value stream is available. And the last construct is support. Support value stream, supporting development value stream. So there could be many operation value streams. We are collating everything together, finally forming a single development value stream, because each one could be individual entity serving the purpose. One could be legal, another one could be HR, another one could be compliance, something like that stuff. So, but we need to make use of those functions on need basis. So we are developing yet another development value stream. So these are the 4 types of value streams. We are first seeing, we have seen fulfillment operation value stream, then manufacturing operation value stream, then software as a service, then 4th one is supporting development value stream. Okay. Now we have to identify the development value stream. Just concluding identify development value stream. First, you have to identify the operation value stream, then the solutions, then the people, then develop the development value stream. Identify the development value stream. That's it. And what do you mean by build the full business solution? It is nothing but the involvement of the third party vendor or the supplier. They should also be included in developing the value streams, because they are also one of the contributor in generating values. Because consider Dell product, manufacturing of a certain component, they may have subleased, given a subtask to yet another vendor. They need to provide. Their dependency exists of their delivery timeliness. Everything has to be taken into consideration, or else everything will go for toss. Now, the fifth mode, I'll go back again. We are about to conclude. Sorry for taking much time. So, reiterating on what we saw so far, identify the solutions, identify the operation value stream, identify the solutions, identify the people, then we have constructed the development value stream. Now, we are about to place the development value stream into the art. This is the last and final most discussion of SAFe itself. Okay. I would, one person, one of them have been asking me, how are we going to place value stream onto art, or how it is? Can anyone say the difference between value stream and art, if there exists any?
There can be one or more agile release trains based on one value stream.
Perfect. Okay. Some more thoughts? You're right.
And also, you can have a scenario where you can have multiple value streams being mapped to one single agile release train also. If the value streams are smaller in size, then you could have multiple value streams mapped to one agile release train. If the value stream is very big, then definitely one big value stream will be mapped to multiple agile release.
So, what is your terminology defined as very big?
See, when I say very big, the volume of work, basically, what is a value stream? A value stream is nothing but basically it is a factory of work. In other simple words, a value stream is a factory of work. It is a volume of the work based on which you decide or formulate agile release train. An agile release train is formulated based on the volume of the work actually. And also, apart from that, you also take dependencies into consideration. So when you have more work only, you go for more agile release trains to produce your higher level solution or your solution level release train actually. So that is the scenario where you have multiple agile release trains coming to picture. So based on the volume of the work, you need to really size your arts accordingly and proceed actually.
You're right. Still, I would like to fine tune. So can I say one value stream can be equal to, underline the word can be, I am not saying equal to. Can I say one value stream can be equal to one art?
Sometimes if the value stream is ideal, see the volume of the value stream, what is the ideal size for agile release train? Anywhere between 15 to 125 people can be fitted in one agile release train. So if this 125 people can work on that value stream work, it's fine. But if the value stream is very big, then definitely you have to go for another art.
You nailed it. You're on that. Got it. Thank you. Okay.
I'm practically working, that's why I'm able
to. Okay. Still, for betterment of other people, do not mistake me. So, what would happen if the size exceeds? If the size exceeds 125?
That's what I'm saying. See, while you're designing all these things, you have to take the consideration of the size, because sometimes you can have bigger value streams also where you cannot accommodate it in one single art. So definitely that is where they it's not an easy job also, because the other art, whatever you are coming up with, if it lands up only with 20 people, then you cannot go for agile release train, because minimum requirement for agile release train is 50 people. So only you can go for another agile release train if that much amount of work is there. Otherwise, you have to see that you manage with a single art. So that is a little bit, that scenario is a little complicated. So definitely you have to consider the volume or the magnitude of the work, and then you design the agile release train accordingly.
Perfect. You got it, sir. You got it. So pictographically, I'm just highlighting what has been discussed so far now. Consider the second stream of agile release train. So I would rather say this is one value stream. So one value stream can be mapped to one agile release train. The reason behind is it could be people could be sized between 50 to 125 people, not more than that, as Mr. Harigar Sudan was discussing now. And it is a Dunbar number, cognitive limit, beyond which there will not be any social relationship. In the same way which we had in Scrum framework, right? It should be 3 to 9 member team, beyond which there will not be any mutual understanding, co-locating, some issues would be there. Similarly is the way people have to be minimum of 50 to 125 people max. That is the Dunbar number. And the team should have less of minimal dependencies. Consider if there are exceeding 125 people, what to do? You have to split agile release train by having 2. If it is going to be thousands of value stream or arts, so it is considered to be as a large solution, for which we need to have pre-PA planning and post-PA planning, everything. That is a different segment of discussion. So for today's discussion, 125 member people is nothing but one value stream, is nothing but equivalent to agile release train. What is agile release train? Agile release train is nothing but team of agile teams, wherein people have cross coordinate, can deliver, can self-manage, self-organize, blah, 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 everything, whatever we know. They can deliver and generate value, meet the requirements of the customer. But there needs to be interconnected. Now, some of the organizations are in silos. That bridge has to be mapped, has to be bridged. That is how SAFe is coming into picture. So the guidelines for splitting the large value stream, if at all needed, because to avoid dependency and to see to the size of the team, people existing over there, and they should be performing independently, minimize the dependencies, and it's a long-lived delivers over time, and it is a holistic delivering product service. This is nothing but the solution. Focused on holistic system, product or service. That's it. It is a solution train. So how can we design an art? Art is of 3 types. This is the latest book prescribed or authored by Matthew Skeleton, and it has been made available in scaledagile.com itself. And most of the art has been designed mainly onto streamlined art. Streamlined art is nothing but they are able to deliver the customer on need basis without having much of the dependency. Other aspects we'll discuss later, but platform and streamlined are mostly required. Highlighting about the streamlined art, mainly focus on to streamlined art only. Most of the cases I have seen is only streamlined art. I'm just running.
We won't be able to answer that.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just thinking of, suppose in a development, you are doing a design, okay, you're starting with the design, then you go for a development, then you are going for a testing, then you are going for the production release. Maybe within the design, within the development, within the testing, okay, can we have a value stream?
Sorry, question to me?
Yes. That is what I'm just elaborating.
I think he's trying to elaborate.
Can we have the value stream at any level? That is what I'm just thinking of. Maybe a question like that.
No. This question should see is when you look into the picture. See, earlier, this is are you able to see my screen, right? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. This is the version 5.0. Okay. This is version 5.0. Earlier, we used to have just a holistic view of value stream. There is no classification of highlighting this iconically in big picture of SAFe. Okay. Just they gave, but these are not the new concepts like a development value stream or operation value streams are still there in 5.0 also. Now 5.1, what has that been brought over here is, see, this is now 5.1. This is 5.1. they had come out with exclusively development value stream and operation value stream. Iconically, so what I said, when should we need to identify value stream? At the beginning of the transition. Now you should figure out at what level we are into identification, or where should this process should fall in place. I do not want to answer this.
No,
Correct.
but to answer Ravi's question, in one iteration, 2 weeks, 2 user stories, also very small value stream. Concept to the cache, concept to the software can be delivered, all development phases together, deploying 2 user stories in deployment server. Maybe we can think of a small value stream also.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the amount of time and the effort and the people required across the globe is this needed. How effectively are you going to manage them? That is needed, right? What is the dual operating systems prescribed? You cannot rely on one operating model. We need to have
Yes.
both. For efficiency, for stability, we need to have organizational hierarchy. At the same time,
Yeah.
for agility purpose, for achieving business agility, we need both dual operating model. So
Definitely.
adaptive also needed, this also needed. Correct. That's what from the beginning I am touching point everything. The need of importance of value stream, when it should be discussed, who are all the participants, how frequent it should happen, when it should happen, everything has been discussed. Tell me what is to be discussed now. So you should understand the difference. Earlier, there was no clear crystal differentiation of development value stream and operation value stream. Now they have brought in the picture of development value stream and operation value stream.
Yeah.
So it's an open book. People can click on any of the item and can